Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this video, if you could just hit that like button and the subscribe button down below, that would really help me out because we're trying to hit 5k this year and I think we can do it. But today's video is very exciting. I record this as literally 2 minutes ago, Leeds United officially tweeted out that Mckennie was official. Now, we're going to start with that because it's the most recent. I was thinking about putting this video out tomorrow on deadline day, but I think I'm going to do a separate one rating the transfer window in general. But today's video, Mckennie has just been made official. Now, if you want a lot more detail on Mckennie, then go check out my video from a couple of days ago. I recommend that one's quite a good watch if you want to know more about him. I know we've got a lot of American fans here, and I've taken all your comments on board about Mckennie, and here are some of the things that I may have missed from that video. Now, I talked about how good he was defensively and how strong and athletic and agile he was in that role and how he could just run for days, and he's so strong. But the thing I neglected to mention really was his ability to get forward as well, making those third man runs into the box and winning headers off corners, off set pieces, just being a general nuisance, getting into that box and putting his body about. And I think he could be massively important in that role. Now, people were saying that maybe Mckennie doesn't offer enough going forward, but I think he really does when you start to see some of the clips of him bursting into the box, breaking that back line and being that third man runner that nobody really knows how to track from the defence because he's come all the way from midfield. So I think Mckennie is an unbelievable signing. Now, it's an official 1.2 million euro starting fee, which is a loan fee, and then in the summer I think it's 6-month loan, and then in the summer, if we stay up, we have to then make the deal permanent for 33 million euros. Now, the reason this happened was because Leeds were offering 28 million euros, and that was a little bit off what Juventus's valuation was, because their valuation was at 35 million euros. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to get the deal across the line as quick as possible, so that we could all go our merry way with our new player. And so that's happened, and Leeds are going to pay a little bit more than what they wanted to pay in January, but they'll get the player on a 6-month loan and then pay that full 33 million euros. So I think it's an excellent deal. Like I said in my video the other day, I think he improves us massively, and I think it's a really important deal to get done. Bringing him, Verba and Ruta in, which I'm going to talk about in more detail in my other video, I think is a real statement from the club, and we need to be way away from that relegation zone. The other big bit of news that came out today, without really any warning in the media and in the press, was that, obviously you'll have seen my silly thumbnail with Diego Llorente, he's going to Roma on an initial loan. And then according to sources on Twitter, I don't know how much truth there is in this, they've got an £18 million buyout clause. At least I'm sure that's what Phil Hay said, and that Leeds could recoup the money that they paid for him originally. If that's true, that is ridiculous, because I may have misread that because I've been in a bit of a rush and I've just left work and all these things. If I have, then let me know down in the comments and we could talk about this, because I was thinking that he was worth around £5 to £10 million, not that much, 18 million. So either way, I don't really care about the money because I'm not the board and it's not coming out of my pocket. I kind of think it was just the end for Diego Llorente at Elland Road. I think he'd had his time, and let's not forget that the end of the first season, he was excellent in keeping that run against the big boys where we hardly conceded any goals and we didn't lose. But I think his time's come to an end at Elland Road, and the mistakes have become far too often. Accrington Stanley, he came on, we conceded. I know it wasn't directly his fault, but there's got to be some sort of correlation there. So if he can go to Roma and make an impact, then I'm happy for him. As long as he's going and playing football, I'm sure he'd be rather playing football than be sat on the bench and not particularly enjoyed by the fans. So yeah, good luck to Diego Llorente. He's been an okay servant to this club, but I think, like I say, his time would really come to an end, and I wasn't really happy with any of his performances over this last sort of year or so. But that brings us neatly onto our new right centre-back signing, Diogo Montero from Servette in Switzerland. Now, Diogo Montero was the third youngest player ever to play in the Swiss League at 16 years old, and he was actually the youngest defender ever to play in the Swiss League. Who else came from the Swiss League? Well, Wilfried Gnonto. So if that's anything to go by, this 18-year-old now defender should be excellent. Now, he's right-footed, so he's a right-sided centre-back. He'll play on the right side of that back four. At the moment, he won't be looking into the first team. He'll be in the under-21s, but you never know in future. We saw Charlie Cresswell get a few first-team games, and Leo Hjelde, and a few others who are really young get first-team action for Leeds. So you may see him get a little bit of game time towards the end of this season, maybe, and definitely in pre-season next season. And maybe trying to get him more game time as we go into the future. But like I say, he's 18 at the moment. I can see why he's been targeted. He's a proactive centre-back. He will go out and win the ball, much like what we've seen from Vuba so far. Apparently it's Vuba. It's not Verba, it's not Woba, it's not Wobba. It's Vuba, apparently. But anyway, yeah, tangent. Diogo Montero is very proactive, a bit like what we've seen from Vuba so far, where he comes out, he wins the ball, aggressively, bravely, gets the ball, gives it to his teammate, and Leeds are on the attack again. And we haven't really lost possession for too long because of that. From all the video clips I've seen of Diogo Montero, he looks like he wants to go hunting for the ball. He wins it, and then he passes it to his teammates. And also, he's got a bit of a long pass in the locker. I've seen him switch the play. I've seen him send it over the top. A bit like what Diego Llorente would actually try, ironically, now and again. But it didn't always come off. But I think the difference that they've got with Diogo Montero is that they've got time to try and mould him and to let him know when to and when not to try and play those sorts of passes, whereas Diego Llorente was very much the finished article and as good as he was ever going to be when he came to us. So maybe this Diogo Montero is a great signing because he can be moulded into the sort of player that Leeds actually want him to be. But yeah, like I say, I can definitely see why they've gone out and got him, because A, he's young, he's cheap, and he's able to play on that right side of centre-back. And like I say, he goes out, wins the ball, gives it to his teammates, and he's also got a bit of a long pass in the locker as well. So that's actually an interesting one to look forward to seeing Diogo Montero, a bit of a dark horse, gone under the radar a little bit because of the signings that we have made. But overall, I think he's going to be excellent in the years to come. I think it's a great signing of another young player to add to our ranks. So yeah, that's a bit of a summary of the sort of madness of transfers that's gone on today. McKenney is official now. Diogo Montero should be announced tomorrow, probably. I think he was doing his medical at the same time as Weston McKenney, and Diego Llorente has made his way to AS Roma. He's actually there now. He's been pictured in the airport. He stood there and went to all the press. And so, yeah, it looks like that's going to be official as long as he passes his medical. Deadline day tomorrow, so I will be doing a video rating our transfer window and talking about the sort of players that we've brought in and where it leaves us. So look out on the channel for that. Like I say, get subscribed and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And then at the weekend, we have Forest, which is a must-win game. So I'll be doing a live watch along for that, so come and check that out on the channel as well. Plenty more content to come for Leeds lately. We're trying to hit that big 5K this year, so hit that subscribe button and help me out. And I'll see you next time on the channel. Thanks for watching.